Hi, I'm on Whiskey Row in Louisville. I have a tour at the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience. There's a ton of bourbon places here in Louisville that are part of the Bourbon Trail, and a lot of them you can either just go get tastings, or a lot of them have tours, and they're really not that expensive. The Evan Williams one I just had to book because they said they give a good history on bourbon and its creation and whatnot. And I don't know a lot about bourbon. I'm not really a bourbon drinker, so I'm gonna give it a shot. It was $20 for the tour, and it's an hour-long tour, and I believe it includes 3 tastings at the end. So I'm kind of excited. Gonna taste some bourbon and while in Louisville.
Welcome to the Adams Family Travelers. Join us as we use our vacation days to travel around as much as we can and enjoy exploring the world. Make sure you join us on our adventures.
So this place is really cool so far. They've got a private tasting room downstairs, and they've got a bourbon glass fountain in the lobby, which is amazing. So I'm getting even more excited and psyched up for this tour. So I just came out of the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience. That was really neat. We got to learn a lot about bourbon and how it came to be. So Evan Williams was actually a man, and he opened the first distillery in Louisville in 1783. Now, he distilled whiskey, and then bourbon came to be later because they started using fire grilled or like charcoal grilled barrels. But bourbon can only be made in the United States. To be bourbon, it has to be more than 51% corn. And, it also, when it comes out, when it's distilled, it needs to be like 160 proof. And, when it's put in the barrel, it has to be at least 120 proof. And then it's aged, I think it has to be aged for at least 4 years. Now they said it evaporates. So that's why if it's aged for 20 years, there's less bourbon in the batch, and that's why it's more expensive, obviously taking on more of a like a barrel kind of oaky taste as well. I was not really a fan of the bourbon, nothing to do with Evan Williams, just I've never had bourbon plain before, and I do not think that's for me. I've had it in cocktails though, and that's good. The bourbon, it wasn't horrible, but I don't think I could drink it plain. I think it would be in a mixer for me. And we also got to try the, I think they called it White Dog, basically before it's put into the barrels, because the barrels where it gets all its color, and that was super strong. It like burns so bad. But I bought a, little sampler pack of, flavored whiskey that they have, or flavored bourbon that they have, which I thought would be good to try. But I thought it was really interesting, even though I'm not a big bourbon person, to learn about the history of bourbon in Louisville and how it came to be. So I definitely think, it's worth a try if you're here in the city. So definitely give Evan Williams a try. Hi, I'm back on Whiskey Row in Louisville, on this cold and rainy day. Well, not really as cold, but very rainy. I'm gonna go do another bourbon tour, and this time I'm gonna do Old Forester. And the reason I picked that is because apparently this one shows you can actually see how the, bourbon's being made. And we'll see if I like this bourbon better. So I'm looking forward to the tour. And this one cost, I think, $32 and was almost sold out. So make sure you reserve this one ahead of time. I just finished up the Old Forester tour, and that was really good. I like that better than the other tour was good as well. But I like this one because you got to see, it was like a factory tour. You got to see the whole process of how they make the bourbon, and then you got to taste it. We also got to taste these marshmallow, and I'm not usually a big marshmallow fan, but they were covered in caramel and some bourbon and chocolate, and those were really good. But I definitely think this tour, if you want to see how bourbon's made, the Evan Williams tour is great for like the history of bourbon as a whole, and especially in the city of Louisville, that was great. But this, like, you go through, you get to see the whole process of making the bourbon. You get to see their fermentation, then you get to see, like, you know, all the other processes. They have a cooperage in there where they make the barrels. And then they have a warehouse, and they do bottling in there. So that was really neat. And I really like that tour. So, still, I'm not the biggest fan of bourbon itself, but I find these tours so fascinating. So obviously, if you're a bourbon fan, you're gonna love it. And even if you're not, come check it out if you're near the Louisville area, because I think it's just a great way to, you know, learn about bourbon and get to try some. Okay, my last stop on my bourbon tour of Whiskey Row in Louisville is Angel's Envy, which is right behind me. I don't have a tour scheduled here. Someone told me that this is their favorite, and I really like their bottles, so I'm gonna go in and try to do some tasting. It's pouring, so I'm gonna go in and get out of the rain. So I ended up doing a chocolate and bourbon tasting in Angel's Envy, and that was really great. They showed us how to taste the bourbon, which I wish I had that all along, because I feel like I probably wasn't tasting it right. So pairing the bourbon with the chocolates is really great. Their chocolates were really good. And, so they have like a local place make them. And also, what I really liked was, so this is a newer distillery, but, the guy had worked at Jack Daniels and like a lot of the other bigger distilleries, and realized that double finishing. And so the ryes are finished in an extra barrel. So like there was one that was finished in a quart barrel. The one I really liked is finished, so once it did its regular, like thing, it was a rye whiskey, and then it was finished in a, rum barrel. So, a barrel that rum had been in. I thought that was really neat. Okay, so I lied. I'm at another distillery. There was another bourbon place like 5 minutes from where I was. So I promise this is the last one, but I wanted to check out Rabbit Hole Distillery. I don't have a tour or anything. I'm going to either hopefully get a tasting or just look around. So Rabbit Hole has a overlook of the city, on their third floor bar, which is pretty cool. And I decided to do a cocktail since I'm not really big into bourbon. So I got it's basically a blackberry Moscow Mule with bourbon. It's pretty good. It's called Over the Moon. It's refreshing. So that'll close out. And the bourbon's not as strong, so I don't really even taste it. So it's dangerous too. So I'm closing out this video. Thank you for watching, and make sure you visit Louisville.